Hi everyone, Dave here at East Rosebud, Billings, Montana. Welcome. Today I'm going to tie a Midge pupa for you that fished in a different angle. The hook and the band is actually above the water. This is an old pattern. Polly Rosborough, who wrote a book, Tying and Fishing Fuzzy Nymphs. Many editions of this book have been printed, and he had about 25 different nymph patterns that are still usable today, and this is one of them. So what I'm going to be using is a straight eye wide gap Kumoto size 14 hook. Of course, you can tie this at any size. This pattern is easy to adjust to different sizes. Some black ostrich to imitate the head. Some Grizzly Hackle for the gills. And then some Hare-Tron dubbing. I'm going to be using the olive dubbing up here for the body. Of course, you can use any color you want. Midges come in a variety of colors. Black, red, olive are the most common. And then for the rib, I'm going to be using some fluorescent red micro metal from Semperfli. You can use your thread if you'd like to, and I can show you in the process where you can use your thread versus something like this for a rib. So it's an interesting pattern. It's an interesting way to fish a Midge pupa. I think it's more visible than a lot of the others out there. So let's give this what the fly is going to look like. And this is how it sits in the water. So the hook is actually, the bend of the hook is actually above the water. To fish it, you grease your leader to within about 8 inches or so of the fly. That allows the monofilament leader to sink and allows you to use the end of the grease leader as your indicator to see what's going on here. So it's just a kind of a different twist on a Midge pupa. Of course, you could tie them in a variety of colors. This happens to be an olive. The top part will remain the same. Like I said earlier, this is a Kumoto wide gap dry fly hook, size 14. There are different ways to rib this body. If you're going to rib it with thread, rib the abdomen, then you should use, of course, a contrasting color. I'm going to rib this using the micro metal, so I want this to be the same color as the dubbing that I'm going to be using. So we'll start the thread right over the hook point and come to the end of the shank. I'm going to take 3 small ostrich hurls and tie them in together. Of course, you want to cut back the tips at least an inch. They're too fragile to wrap and twist without breaking. Got more than 3. So cut them back a little ways. Tie them in with a soft loop. Tie them back just a little ways. Twist them. Remember, don't twist them a lot at the beginning because it's very fine. The quill is very fine down there. We're just going to take a few wraps. And then tie it off. Sure you've got that tied securely. And this is Veevus 10-aught thread in olive. And then use an undersized Grizzly Hackle. This is actually 2 sizes under. This is a size 16 hackle for this fly, which is on an 18 hackle on a 14 hook. So we'll prepare the hackle as usual. Expose some of the quill. Tie this right in front of the ostrich. And then we're going to make about 6 wraps of this, very close together. Right in front of the ostrich, right about over the hook point, maybe a little bit more. This is what's going to support and suspend this fly in the surface film. All right, go ahead and cover the rest of the hook. Now, if you wanted to use the thread as your ribbing, you make a dubbing loop right now. Make your dubbing loop, put it aside, and then once you've dubbed the abdomen, you can come in and use that dubbing loop as your rib. I'm going to use this micro metal instead, simply because of the contrasting color. This is really, really fine stuff, available in a variety of colors. And it's got more sparkle to it than wire does. So we'll tie that in right where the thread is. And bring it forward to the behind the eye. Just even things out, come back. I'm going to be using, like I said, some Hare-Tron dubbing. Hare-Tron is hair and Antron. So you get some sparkle with it. This is olive, but I would certainly have some additional colors, red, black, brown. And it does not take a lot. We don't have a lot of hook shank to cover here. Always dub it thinly so you have control over the wraps. Stop right behind the hook eye and then bring your micro metal forward. And tie that off. Whip finish. My whip finish. So you see, it's not a complicated pattern to tie. And it might just give you the edge when fish are feeding selectively on Midge pupa. It gives them a different look, certainly, than what you normally see. We'll give it a try. Midge are very, very important on lakes, and you should have some Midge pupas in your fly box. So thanks for joining in. We'll see you next time.